Ladies and gentlemen, good morning. I'm very pleased to join this very meaningful and timely event. Today is the fourth day of the event. It's highly supported by the government. I understand that Mrs. Carrie Lam, Chief Secretary for Administration, and also Professor Anthony Cheung, Secretary for Transport and Housing, have shared their view about this topic in the earlier days. So I'm the first minister to join this event. I understand that later today, Under-Secretaries for Development, Transport and Housing, and also the Environment would also join the event to share what we are doing and what we are going to do. So you can see that the government is really keen about this topic. Today's particular theme is about climate change and low carbon development. So it's close to my portfolio. My subject covers climate change and air quality and related subjects. But before I share with you what we are going to do about this topic under my office, I would like to share with you something more personal. I'm a passionate walker. When I was younger, I lived in a public housing estate in the Kowloon side. It's a 20-story building. My home is located in the second topmost level. I always walked up and down, okay, to the ground level. Because the staircase is kind of a laterally ventilated staircase, and at that time the elevators were not as speedy as today's. So we tried to compete with the speed of the elevator, and always we won. And also, my home is located about, say, 10 minutes away from the transit station, the MTR station. And similar to many places in Hong Kong, there are minibus or public light bus linking between the station and estates. Again, for economic reasons at that time, that I always walk to the station instead of using the minibus. So certainly, from today's perspective, their walking could offer economic, social, and environmental benefits. And until today, I still walk a lot within the office. My office occupies more than a story, so we walk up and down to minimize the use of energy in relation to elevators. And also during lunchtime, from my office, I walked to Wan Chai, MOT, and Central, as long as the weather and other permits. And during weekends, I walked again. Because said by a civil exchange friend, that Hong Kong's country parks are in proximity to the urban areas. Many of the country parks could just walk directly from the urban area or directly from the MTR station. So those are the backgrounds that I would like to share with you, that this kind of urban fabric and also lifestyle offer low carbon option for many people in Hong Kong, not only me, but also many other people. And certainly there are room for improvement, but it also represent Hong Kong is a unique place, not only two-dimensional, but a three-dimensional walkable environment, because Hong Kong is so dense with high-rise buildings. Not only the external environments for walking, but also within buildings. People can walk within the building or between buildings for at least an hour or hours. So when we consider walkability, it's not only about individual buildings, but also the total three-dimensional urban fabric in Hong Kong. And that's not only for Hong Kong, but also similarly for many other cities in Asia. And back to the policy areas, I would like to summarize 3 key points under ABC, because walking is something basic. A stands for adaptation to climate challenge and also air quality. Because when we talk about climate change, low carbon development is important, but under the climate challenge, how to address the issues in relation to climate change is equally important. For instance, there are extreme weathers, more intensive, more frequent heat wave, heavy rainfalls are affecting cities like Hong Kong. So after the Paris conference held late last year, the government formulated a high-level steering committee chaired by Mrs. Carrie Lam, Chief Secretary for Administration, together with all the secretaries, including all the bureaus, departments, to formulate the more aggressive climate action plan for Hong Kong, covering both mitigation, adaptation, and resilience. And why I highlight the adaptation aspect is because that for walkers, we would prefer to have a more firmly comfortable outdoor environment, preferably with breeze, with shade, and with better air quality, so that people can enjoy the outdoor environment for walking, right? But Hong Kong is suffering the impact of climate change. Hong Kong, similar to many other cities, are becoming hotter, particularly in long summers. And also due to the compact urban form in Hong Kong, the level of the breeze has been decreasing over time. So how to maintain and even enhance the microclimate in Hong Kong for favoring walking is a challenge. So under the steering committee, we are formulating the action plan, and one of the aspects is to make Hong Kong climate smarter, more adaptive, and coupled with other air quality improvement measures, so that we can maintain Hong Kong's outdoor environment to be walkable. I can highlight a few examples. For instance, in our new development areas, we integrate the so-called urban climatic map. That is kind of scientific methodology tailor-made for Hong Kong's particular climate and urban fabric, that we can, in the planning stage, to integrate the beachway, greenery, and other aspects, so that we can maintain Hong Kong's outdoor environment to be walkable, livable. On top of that, we integrate other infrastructure and facilities. For instance, in the Kai Tak area, we integrate the first of its kind district cooling system in Hong Kong. It's a kind of energy-efficient, low-carbon infrastructure that capitalizes on the availability of seawater for cooling, but the centralized district cooling system can provide not only a highly efficient energy system for cooling individual buildings, but help get rid of the individual chillers usually located on top of individual buildings, so that it can help reduce the urban heat island effect in Hong Kong. At the same time, it enables individual buildings can have a free roof for integrating renewable energy, more greenery, and for public space use. So there are win-win situations for engaging using appropriate technologies in the case of Hong Kong. At the same time, we would like to improve the air quality in Hong Kong for obvious reasons, as said by my colleagues and different speakers. Over the last few years, the major air pollutants in Hong Kong have been reduced to, say, 20 to 30%, and it will become even healthier and better in the coming years. Through various measures. One of the highlighted measures is to phase out the old diesel commercial vehicles. Probably it's the biggest of its kind in the world. We are phasing out more than 80,000 old diesel commercial vehicles in a few years, and within, say, around 2 years, more than half of them have been phased out. So we are recording better air quality along the road and also in general. Second point is about about building green, okay? Because I said earlier that Hong Kong is a three-dimensional city. So when we talk about walkability, it's not only about along streets and piazzas, but also in buildings and also between buildings. So how to make the building's interior environment equally enjoyable for walking is something that we'd like to promote. So green building is a very important subject in Hong Kong. In Hong Kong, we have the Green Building Assessment System called BEAM+. Now is covering new buildings, existing buildings, and also being extended to neighborhood. So when we talk about building projects and also planning, we'd like to have a kind of objective system to promote various low-carbon, energy-efficient, and also livable design For instance, Hong Kong's having probably the highest record of elevators and escalators in the world per unit area. Those are important elements as part of the walkable city. So we have regulations, we have other initiatives to ensure that all these, we call the business system, to be energy efficient, climate smart. Third is about the C is for carbon reduction. That is the theme of today. Under the climate change challenge, we're now happy to see the Paris Agreement. It set a very aggressive target is to cap the temperature rise globally, not more than 2 degrees C by mid of this century, and preferably around 1.5 degrees C. So all countries are trying to address this issue, including Hong Kong. As I said, we have the same committee newly formed to address this mitigation, adaptation, and resilience challenges. In Hong Kong, the carbon footprint per person is not high when compared with other cities. On average, our per capita carbon footprint is about 6 tons per person per year. And we are now having a 2020 target. That means in the coming 4 years, on average, Hong Kong's carbon footprint will be reduced to 5. Okay? And then we're going to announce our 2030 long-term target later this year or early next year. And to reduce carbon footprint is very important. So we have to look at what are our major carbon emissions in Hong Kong. Basically, there are a few major sources. Firstly, it's about the power plants and buildings. They are accounting for about 60% of Hong Kong's carbon footprint. How about road transport? 17%. And the rest about waste and others. So we are having the steering committee working integratively together with other departments, including Transport and Housing and Development Bureau, so that we can have an integrated approach from planning to transport to further reduce our carbon footprint, including that in relation to transportation. So promoting walkability is very important, not only to reduce carbon footprint, but also make our city healthier and more livable. So what I like to conclude is that we are taking an integrated approach because it's very important to see things in a holistic way so that we can see means in an effective way to address the target and also capture the various co-benefits from reducing carbon footprint to make cities more livable, healthier, and more vibrant. As said, later today, 3 undersecretaries representing development, transport and housing, and the environment will sit together to see how we are working together. So I would like to conclude here. Welcome the event again to Hong Kong. It's very timely and important, and is supported by the government. And for working together in a collaborative way, we can make Hong Kong and other cities more livable, low carbon, so that we can address the climate change together. Thank you.